I'm not that old, but I'm old enough to remember 2023 when this very astute swimmer drowned at Barack Obama's house. How'd that happen exactly? Nobody's ever answered the question. Nobody knows. This is Tafari Campbell. Tafari Campbell is really proud of the fact that he can swim, and he's a very good swimmer. And he went on vacation to islands where he would swim. And for some reason, he drowned in 4 feet of water outside of Barack Obama's house while the Secret Service watched. And a mysterious young woman who was not his wife that he was paddleboarding with also watched. And again, nobody's ever made any explanation to the public as to why this all happened. Tafari Campbell seemed like a perfectly nice guy. He was, the chef for the Obamas, and he had a wife and kids. And, well, I would just like this mystery to be solved. How do you drown in this tranquil, historically and famously peaceful water out here on Cape Cod? How's that happen exactly? Martha's Vineyard. Like, how's that happen? I don't know. I'd really love to find the answer to that. I'd love to find the answer to how the Clintons' former chef drowned by himself in New Mexico while on a hike. Don't make no sense. So he was found drowned in the mountains in drainage 25 yards from the trail. He was a chef for Bill Clinton and George W. Bush, and I don't know. Don't make no sense. Why did the former governor of Virginia, the guy who was supposed to be like the next Barack Obama, his name's Justin Fairfax, why did he kill himself and his wife in front of his kids? I mean, is this just like coincidence? I don't know. It seems to be like an unbelievable amount of violence that is happening at the homes of left-wing Democrats, stars in the Democrat Party. Oh, a body was found. Squad Rep Ayanna Pressley. Now, we've covered this. We've covered how the body has now been identified as an 18-year-old young woman. Now, how does Ayanna Pressley, whose husband is a felon and who served 10 years in prison, she makes hundreds of thousands of dollars in rent from her properties. She's a socialist, by the way. Her husband got $2 billion contract with the state to build courthouses, even though he's, did I mention that, a felon? This is a drug dealer. And this young Latina woman was shot dead. Point blank range inside of their house. Was their house being used as a drug house? Was their house being used as a trafficking house? Nobody's asked the question. Why don't they have to answer these questions? Boy, oh boy. Ayanna Pressley. Her name was Yoselani Marte. She was killed in an act of domestic violence. Boston police are treating it as a homicide because it is. She was shot dead in the house that is owned by one of the most famous members of Democrat squad in Congress, and somebody with all of the socialist victories who is now becoming very powerful. Well, finally, she's had to answer some questions about this. Squad Democrat speaks out after teen found shot dead at her property. What do you mean her husband's property? It's her property. They're married. She's an 18-year-old young woman. Okay. What does Ayanna have to say? Like, why? It's like amazing. Why are you forced? Why isn't every single reporter on Capitol Hill asking this question of Ayanna? This is the incuriousness of this. It makes me so angry. I'll play you this. I haven't watched it. Let's watch it for the first time together. But can you please? What would be the equivalent, right? The equivalent would be a young, up-and-coming, right-wing member of Congress, right? Brandon Gill is pretty famous. Lauren Boebert is pretty famous in Congress. You know, you got a guy like Jim Jordan, or some senators. Anyway, some member of Congress. Let's say Trump's kids, Don Jr. What if an 18-year-old was found shot dead at Don Jr.'s house? Even if he wasn't living there. Let's say it's one of his homes. 18-year-old chick shot dead at Don Jr.'s house. You think Don Jr. would have to answer a couple questions about that? You think Eric Trump would have to answer a couple questions about that? Again, putting it on the same level playing field. Of course, every reporter on Capitol Hill would be foaming at the mouth to ask Lauren Boebert about an 18-year-old girl or man who was murdered, blown to bits in a home that she owns, obviously. But it falls to the Capitol Hill Fox Digital reporters to actually ask the question here of Ayanna Pressley. So let's all watch together.
What's your reaction to the incident that happened at the home that your husband owns? There was a death there, It reported in the local news. I was wondering what you know about it and what's your reaction.
Well, as the mother to an 18-year-old daughter, right now excitedly planning to take her to college for her freshman year. My heart is very heavy. I'm devastated for the impacted family. This young girl who we didn't know, 18 years old, sure had her own plans and dreams that have all been cut short. And as someone who has done the work advocating, for accountability and healing for survivors of all crimes, my heart is heavy, and I'm just really centering the victim right now. And that's what we all should be doing.
Do you have any details on what exactly happened? What's your reaction?
So I guess we don't get a follow-up question. Okay. Look at this classic. Why ask her questions about it? Libs. Who cares? Watch it happen. Watch it happen to Don Jr. First off, that's like, while it's a very nicely polished answer, right? Look, I also have a daughter. It doesn't get to the actual question, which is, why was there a homicide committed at a home that you own? Like, were you connected to any criminal activity in that home? Your husband's a felon. He's a felon. He dealt a lot of drugs. It's a matter of public record. Now he gets $2 billion contracts to rebuild courthouses, the same courthouses that he was sentenced to prison in. But what do you know about this? Those are real questions. I'm glad that the Fox News reporter asked it. The reporter's name is Nicholas Ballasy. He does great work. What does centering the victim even mean? What does that mean? Seems to imply not self-inflicted. Sure, she had her own plans and dreams and been cut short. As somebody who had done the work advocating for accountability and healing of survivors of all crimes, my heart is heavy. I mean, I haven't seen any reporting that this was a suicide. The initial reporting was that this is being investigated as a homicide. Watch her talk with the sound off. Yeah, she sure doesn't seem like she's in any type of duress. Again, there are so many unanswered questions. Why did this guy drown in 4 feet of water outside of Barack Obama's house? That's a thing that happened. We have every right to ask questions. We have every right to ask questions about you, lady, and what was going on inside of this home. What did the cops find there? It's the Boston police, so I guess we'll see. We've all seen The Departed, right? But I don't know. What did you find? The victim identified at 18. The victim's family identified her. Okay. She's centering the victim. 18-year-old woman was found shot dead. It doesn't say that she was a suicide. Are they trying to say it's a suicide? Is that even more? Wait a second. Were the Clintons involved here? Somebody asked their chef, oh, wait, we can't. Because he also drowned in the middle of nowhere with Secret Service watching. Okay. The victim's family identified her as an 18-year-old. Boston police have not publicly identified her, confirmed the characterization. The Boston police have said nothing. My heart is heavy. I'm just centering the victim. What the hell does that mean? What does that mean? The victim was found dead from a gunshot wound inside of the home. So are you trying to say that you're trying to say that this is some kind of situation where you're trying to frame it as a suicide? The family of the victim said this is domestic violence. Okay. Well, I think that, it is our obligation to ask a number of follow-up questions about this. This is a horrible crime. This is the worst possible crime. Innocent young woman, 18 years old, murdered, dead. And, to answer the question, what did you know about it? You're a public official. We have the right to ask, what did you know about it? Were you involved in any way? Your family has a history of criminality and drug dealing. So was that involved in any way? That's just a matter of public record. These are just obvious questions that you ask in these kind of circumstances. So maybe I'm the only guy on earth asking them, but I'm not going to apologize for it. They're legitimate questions. So anyway, it is what it is. What do you think happened?